You're looking especially cool today. Only see the rain and the sand. Wearing a black tank top. My chest feels tight and heavy, although it didn't reveal its pure white. But one can also imagine the scenes within. A short skirt beneath, not even covering the knees. Such attire, this made Kin Yun somewhat displeased. If only, wearing it for myself, just let it go. But if you go out wearing it, Aminos, he coughed twice, reminded, Shajai, aren't you afraid of exposing yourself? Rain Gongsha tilted his head, following Kin Yun's gaze. This is when I finally understood what he meant. Then, smiling brightly, said, It's nothing. Wearing safety shorts. Do you want to confirm? He said. She lifted her skirt, walked in front of Kin Yun. Kin Yun's face was slightly flushed, hurriedly turned to the side. Wave hand to refuse. No need. Take a look. Look. Really unnecessary. Not talking anymore. I still have to go to work. Kin Yun dared not linger, afraid of being devoured and skinned alive by the rain god. After all, this meat sandwich. How unfortunate to eat more. Seeing Kin Yun about to leave, even though it rains, the river still flows, but still suppressed the desires in my heart. Smiling, he said, Then I'll drive you there. Yu Gongsha suddenly became displeased. Eleni, you are already an adult. Isn't it enough to understand a little? With you here, how can I still play traffic formation with the Qin army? Qin Yuan wiped away his sweat. I didn't expect my wife to be so slippery. You send one, you send. Sending two is also sending. Why can Qin Yuan do it, but I can't? I am your sister. Rainy Gong Ali pouted, gazing into the beautiful eyes of Yu Gongsha. The two stood firm, unwilling to back down. All right, then let's do it together. Yu Gongsha let out a sneer. I also plan to go all out. I'll do it right in front of you. Flirting with the Qin army. Drive you crazy. We must assert the sovereignty of the Qin army. This girl is always watching with keen interest. If one is not careful, it really made her suffer. It's too late to cry. But the Qin army prefers me. She never had a chance. Yu Gongsha confidently puffed out his chest. A massive weapon directly covered the figure of Rainmaster Ai Lai. Yu Gong Ai Lai Luchai Yi Zeo. Rain Lord Ali revealed a smile, not paying attention at all. Instead, it bypassed the lady. Directly hold Qin Yuan's hand. She leaned against Qin Yuan with a beaming smile. Let's set off quickly. Men and women should not be too close. Don't stick so close. The humiliation and anger of Rain Gongsha reached its peak. Say hello. Hearing this, Miss Ai Lai said, but it was as if they hadn't heard at all. Instead, it became even tighter. Qin Yuan felt like crying but had no tears. I just feel like a piece. Meat that can be slaughtered at will, stared at intently by two fierce wolves. The despicable Sakura sisters. One day, I will make both of you cry. What sister flowers will it be then? Turn me into a sister's scenery. Chajai, you should go back first. Get out of the car. Qin Yuan stands at the entrance of the izakaya. Towards the rain, Gongsha said, Be careful of the Qin army. Don't wear yourself out. On the bus, Rain Palace sand. The whole person lay on the car window, reluctantly gazing at Qin Yuan. Lean out with a full upper body. Shui runs Mause, supporting the thin mist. Speaking, he looked towards Qin Yuan beside him. Jan's rainy day, Ailey. The voice suddenly grew somber. Ailey, take good care of the Qin army. Rain goddess Ailey held onto Qin Yuan's large hand, responding with a bright smile. Don't worry. I will take good care of her." Upon hearing this, a sigh from the rainmaster. Her beautiful eyes were filled with regret. Using the corner of his eye, he glanced at Kin Yuin again. After a long time, he finally drove away. Seeing my wife leave, Kin Yuin glanced at the tightly held hand, complained, "Are you still not letting go?" Sister also said, "I will take good care of you. I'm not a child any more. Ailey's jade-like hands are soft, slippery. It does feel nice to touch." Kin Yuin said no more. Just as I was about to turn around and open the door, a sudden whistle sounded sharply. He turned back in confusion. A black luxury car was parked nearby. As the car window slowly rolled down, a delicate and beautiful face appeared before my eyes. A pair of beautiful eyes glimmering, cold labia and back, as beautiful as a new moon. Just that face of cold indifference and arrogance. It exudes the aura of competitiveness from its very essence, exquisite and unparalleled. Again cold and pure, as if untouched by the mundane world, the celestial fairy untouched by the mortal world. Kin Yuin's clear lips. Such hesitation. Who wouldn't want to suppress it gently? Shendong Zuna, park the car properly. Lion Bui strode towards Kin Yuin. First, just shake the car keys. Show a gentle smile. The corners of your mouth smile so naturally. Let people take a glance. My whole heart feels like it's melting away. Still holding hands. The young couple has a really good relationship. In a moment, he walked up to the two of them, speaking in a strange tone. Kin Yuin realized. Quickly shook off Yu Gong'e Lai's hand. Clearing his throat twice, he felt a bit awkward. "We really aren't that kind of relationship." Yu Gong'e secretly smiled. Kaio Lion. Wai Hong walked towards the deep winter snow. "Why did the manager come so early today?" After all, there are still several hours until opening. This time period, only King Yuan would come over. Thinking of this, Yugong seemed to realize something, looking at the deep winter snow with a hint of caution. In the depths of winter, Zhu Nuo glanced at the young girl before her, ignored it, but instead he looked at Kin Yuan and asked, "That person just now, is that your friend?" "I guess so. She is all so very beautiful. Your gaze is almost pulling threads. You won't." Sitting on the fence. I've explained it many times. Ailey and I are innocent. Kin Yuan sighed. Seemed very troubled and helpless. "So you admit it. Their relationship is no ordinary one." In the deep winter, Zhu Nai approached to ask. The alluring direction of mature women sweeps in. Kin Yuan couldn't help but lick his cracked lips. Responded, "Good sister, don't try to play with my words." In the deep winter, Zuna smiled and said, "Can't you tell your woman is actually quite good?" Kin Yuan replied neither humbly nor arrogantly. "Not good at all. Each one is a handful. Everyone is trying to clean themselves out completely. Then I'm not good either." In the deep winter, Zhu's tone was ambiguous. Suburban storm suddenly pressed closer. Kin Yuan's sturdy chest, colliding with those two lumps of rotten flesh. The soothing scent of musk let him indulge in wild thoughts. In the depths of winter, Zhu Nuo remained silent, gently reaching out to caress Kin Yuan's face. This skin. He looks pleasing to the eye, handsome and elegant, yet still retains a sense of masculinity, well built and slender. Give him ample security, and that stubborn personality. If it cannot be conquered, I'm afraid it will become the heart demon of his life. Do not let them yield. The thoughts cannot reach clarity. Don't touch him. I can no longer endure with Princess Ailey. Go up and separate the two. not giving the store manager any respect at all. Speak directly. He has already made it clear that he has a partner. Don't touch him anymore. Jage. In the deep winter, Zuno suddenly burst into laughter. Then Qin Yuan said, "Who is your master?" The sword's tip once again pointed at itself. Qin Yuan was filled with frustration. I glanced at the two of them. Complained, "I am not a slave. Definitely not a dog. I have no master." Holding hands tightly with Princess Ailey, when whispering to myself in my heart, "Shendong Zuno, just a faint smile. What if I force you to be my dog? Previous rules." Oh, this can be understood this way. No. Qin Yuan frowned and did not reply. These days but I'm almost driven mad by the previous rules. The rules set by the boss. The rules set by the seniors. At home, you still have to follow the landlord's rules. Never give in to them. This bad habit must be resisted. Reject the former rules. Starting with myself, Shendan Zunyuo, unreservedly revealing the loss in my heart. Her beautiful eyes were filled with dissatisfaction. Neither of them gives him any face. He is the boss. Even if I am unwilling in my heart, at least pretend to cooperate on the surface. Let's just forget about Gong Ailey. Qin Yuan is still so impolite, not giving oneself a way out. Indeed, must be trained properly. In the depths of winter, Yuki's entire being, suddenly exuding a terrifying chill. The tone was eerie, like that of a devil. Qin Yuan felt a light in his heart. Look at that murderous gaze of his. Unavoidably became tense. That, "What did you just say?" "It's nothing." In the deep winter, Zhu Nuo let out a soft shout. Then she grabbed Qin Yuan's sleeve. "Han Shengdao, let's clean well tonight. Don't let me catch hold of your weakness." Speaking. He is in charge. He pushed the door open without looking back. Qin Yuan sighed in despair, looking at the back of Shandong Zunyuo in midwinter. Gave a white-eyed roll. "It seems I'm being targeted today." With Gong Ailey, I couldn't help but scratch my head and smile. "Don't worry. I promised my sister. I won't let anyone bully you. As long as I'm not busy, I'll sweep the floor with you." Qin Yuan sighed sorrowfully. "This it's truly exhausting. How about eating soft rice with sauce instead? Just be a useless person." He spoke softly. The sound is very low, but was clearly heard by Princess Ailey. He just pouted, very unwilling, walked in front of Qin Yuan, with a hint of sobbing. "If you want to go, then go. Don't worry about me. Speak up." With Gong Ailey turning around, she headed straight into the store. Qin Yuan quickly stepped in to stop it. "I didn't say I was leaving. Don't be angry anymore." No response from Gong Ailey, silently gazing at Qin Yuan. This job is hard-earned. Qin Yuan is going to work. In order to have more opportunities to spend time together, he put in a lot of effort. Only then did Shen Dongzhu agree. After learning that Qin Yuan was targeted by someone, just trying every possible way to plead for mercy. Clear, this is just a one-sided wishful thinking. So, even if Qin Yuan wants to leave, he won't blame either. But I really just want to talk to you more. With Lady Ailai raising her eyes to look at Qin Yuan, eyes glistening with moisture. Tears kept swirling within. "Don't worry. I can't." Qin Yuan bent down, intending to explain and comfort. Before he could finish speaking, "With Princess Ailey I rise on my toes." Suddenly kissed me. He was momentarily astonished. But it's just a moment. He lost his guard. Qin Yuan quickly stepped back, her cheeks flushed with surprise. "Raise your gaze." looking at Princess Ailey. He gazed at her with enchanting eyes. It seems to be savoring. It took a long time before waking up. She looked at Qin Yuan with a charming innocence, pulling at the strands of hair on her cheek. Duh. If you want to leave me, I won't stop you, but you must tell me in advance. I will go with you then. Is this okay? A job with such a high salary. It's hard to find right. Qin Yuan looked somewhat worried, just thinking about the pile of debts with Gong Ailey, but felt a bit reluctant in heart. Ailey was momentarily taken aback, then tilted his head. Dad, I have looked for quite a few jobs. There are many rewards that are much higher than this. Just say it. This place is filled with girls, so it's relatively safe. This way. Qin Yuan realized suddenly. Suddenly, I couldn't help but secretly mock myself, worried for so long. It turned out to be a wasted effort. Almost forgot. The girl in front of me, except for not being good at foreign languages, almost omnipotent, instantly felt a sense of relief. Qin Yuan felt much more relaxed. Since that's the case, facing the hidden rules of deep winter's snowy embrace, she suddenly gained confidence. Qin Yuan licked his lips. The suffering endured in recent days. She wants to get everything back. Inside the office, deep winter snow milk, waking up groggily at the desk, she rubbed her beautiful eyes. Just feels sore all over with back pain. Weakness in the limbs. It's too quiet. I accidentally fell asleep. In the deep winter, Zhu Nai stretches lazily, fully showcasing a perfect figure. Strands of hair cascaded down the side of her face. A fresh fragrance radiated from every part of her body. I always struggle with insomnia at home. As soon as I get to the office, I feel like sleeping. She rested her hand on her fragrant cheek. Yawned. I feel utterly bored. Took a glance at the time. It is already 2 o'clock in the deep night. It's already closed. I wonder how that guy is doing at work. In the deep winter snow, the milk gently caresses the cheek. Fingers glided back and forth. Day, let's go inspect it. Dare to contradict, then you have to pay a price. She instantly felt motivated, got up and walked out of the office. Walked towards the hall. The entire izakaya. It was as quiet as a haunted house. All the employees have left. The entire izakaya. Only scattered rays of extreme travel light. In the deep winter, the snow made me rub my arms, feeling a bit cold. After taking out my phone to turn off the air conditioner, as soon as I turned around, a massive, terrifying shadow appearing before me, she hurriedly stepped back. A stunningly beautiful and cold visage. For the first time, a look of panic appeared on her face. Professor, don't be afraid. It's me. Qin Yuan turned on the light, smiling at her. It was Qin Yuan. Shendong Zunai sighed in relief, but a full chest, still fluctuating violently, feeling a deep sense of fear. How dare you scare me? You're finished. She must be a fickle woman. Qin Yuan's gaze shifted downward. Those delicate thighs. A bright red banner unfolded before her. I couldn't help but swallow. Is it beautiful? Do you like it? In the deep winter, Zunai let out a soft laugh. Without any hesitation, they stepped forward. With her left hand, she embraced Qin Yuan's neck, shaking his head tightly, gently leaning on the shoulder. The fingertips of the right hand glided back and forth over Qin Yuan's face, up to the neck. Generally, Qin Yuan was calm to the point of, take a closer look. These fair and smooth, beautiful legs, neither fat nor thin, just right. The overall shape is aesthetically pleasing, but if you really want to play with it, The texture can't compare to the meat of the Tai Tai Feng Yu. The skin doesn't smile like a flower. Can only say, usually, generally, deep winter snow milk, the face of Qin Yuan. Face yourself head on. The tip of my nose brushed against Qin Yuan's nose. Uncontrollable anger appearing on this cold and pure face. It became even more enticing. She breathed out softly. After a moment of contemplation, took the initiative to create distance. She said with a cold smile, "You really dare to say that? Aren't you afraid that I'll fire you? It's up to you. What about your little girlfriend? Are you not going to care anymore? In the deep winter, the snow arrogantly rises like a well. Her matters have nothing to do with me." Seeing Qin Yuan's indifferent attitude, she wore a slight frown. Could it be that? At a fight. Isn't that a great opportunity? Men are easiest to handle at times like this. As long as you apply a little strategy, then it can be taken down. In the depths of winter, Zhu Nai felt a surge of joy in her heart. Quickly tidied up her clothes and hair, revealing a gentle smile. "You've worked hard these past couple of days. As a reward, sister will take you to eat something good. Fish wrapped in fish, right." In the deep winter, the snow lingered, leaving a moment of stillness. A hint of confusion flickered in her beautiful eyes. After thinking it over, pure and simple. That works too. In this store, out of stock. Let me take you out to eat. She said. I took the initiative to hold Qin Yuan's hand. I couldn't help but touch it a few more times. Feeling that warm hand. A warm current flows within. So comfortable. If touched by hands like that, what would it feel like? She was lost in thought. Strange images began to appear in my mind. Shook his head, calmed down. "Are you okay?" Qin Yuan stepped forward and inquired with concern, looking at the suddenly close face. In the deep winter, the snow milk is unknown for what reason. I felt a rising heat in my body, cold cheeks. A rare layer of red hue emerges. "It's nothing. Don't get so close to me yet." She pushed against Qin Yuan's chest. At this moment, the heart races rapidly. I don't know if it's because I turned off the air conditioning. It's still too awkward with just a man and a woman. She felt a bit dry in her mouth and throat. Heartbeat quickens. "I'm sorry. Because of the professor. You smell wonderful." So Qin couldn't help but. Qin Yuan spoke. "Follow her outside the palace." Upon hearing this, Shandong Zunai couldn't help but glance back at her. After scanning that handsome face, quickly looked away. "Don't talk nonsense. You're not usually like this. If it were usual, this guy is indeed going against himself. How could I praise myself like this? Yes, it must be an illusion. I'm not just rambling. Because of the professor, you smell really good. Can you say that again? Professor, hello, fragrant." Qin Yuan didn't mind either. Continue repeating. "Now she is. There are no more worries. Act freely as you wish." She held that delicate, frail little hand. Couldn't help but gently caress with my fingertips. The delicate texture is surprisingly good. And the fragrance that emanates from the entire body. She immediately. I also feel a bit hot. The two walked out of the palace. Qin Yuan glanced at the deep winter snow. She lowered her head for some unknown reason, breathing heavily the whole time. "Professor, are you feeling unwell?" She leaned in to ask. Only a never-before-seen rosy face appeared, caught my eye, on the smooth, jade-like cheeks. A pink glow emerged. Her watery, beautiful eyes shimmered in unison. A hazy scene. In the deep winter snow, May's beautiful eyes suddenly widened. The gaze revealed a moment of turmoil and panic. She lowered her hand from the zither, hesitatingly spoke. Anyway, get in the car first. Arrived at the car. The atmosphere of ambiguity continues. Kinyuan sat in the passenger seat. From time to time, the residual light brightens the deep winter snow. Today's her, wearing a white shirt, purple short skirt. There are no long legs wrapped in high socks, revealing large areas of skin as white and delicate as jade. Despite the simple attire, but with such a perfectly shaped figure, slender and graceful, and that charming visage. Whatever she wears, she looks charming and sexy. What do you want to eat? In the deep winter snow, Nye noticed Kin Yuan's intense gaze. Shyly chatted about the strands of hair on the cheek, even a simple action. With a mature and elegant demeanor, it is enough to make anyone fall for it. This time period, there aren't many stores still open right. Kin Yuan's gaze returned. This woman is too seductive. Every frown and smile is testing her limits. If I could take a few more glances at this car, I'm afraid disaster is coming. Indeed, most of the stores are closed. Then let's just forget it. Professor, just take me home. Returning home, hearing this, Dong Zhu's cheeks flushed red. With hands pressed together, he whispered, "Now go to deliver a message to your esteemed parents. Isn't it a bit inappropriate?" My parents are not in Tokyo. I live alone in a small apartment," Kin Yuan explained. "It's okay, it's okay." In the deep winter, Zhu Nai patted her violently rising chest, let out a sigh of relief. But thinking it over, it feels even more wrong. Lonely man and woman. Isn't that even better? Let's consider it a home visit. She shyly lowered her head, silently opened the navigation. Home visit. I am already a college student. Let's talk about it again. I haven't even started school yet. Kin Yuan asked in confusion. Say it again. She lives alone. What is there to gain from home visits? Are you really going to confront Yu Gong in Lao? Home visit in advance. Is it not possible? In the deep winter, the snow is pure and bright. Put on a strong demeanor. All right, all right, Qin Yuan said dismissively. Let's set off. Shandong Zunai nodded. Just ignited. My heart was unusually tense. Even when taking the driving test. Never been this flustered before. Release the handbrake. Gear shifted properly. She gazed ahead, whispering her secrets. Heading to the apartment where Qin Yuan lives. Silently all the way. But the stuffy air inside the car never dissipated. Even if the air conditioning is turned to the maximum, it is of no use. Arrived at the apartment door. In the deep winter, the snow returns to its original state. The handbrake is pulled up. The heavy stone in my heart finally fell. She never felt. Driving is such an exhausting task. It's all that guy's fault. Arrived. In the deep winter, the snow is like milk. Look at Qin Yuan. She leaned back against the chair, breathing calmly, already feeling drowsy. I see. Be careful on your way. Qin Yuan rubbed his drowsy eyes. Unbuckle your seatbelt and get out of the car. I already said it. Today is the day for home visits. We definitely need to go in and take a look. In the deep winter snow, Naiba took off the key. Then get off together. Qin Yuan looked at her. Mei Tu lightly scratched her cheek. Sui Dao. All right. But I don't have anything good at home to entertain you. It's okay. In the deep winter, Zhu Nai shyly spoke. Murmured to herself, Anyway, you're here, aren't you? Qin Yuan really couldn't hear the last sentence clearly. He merely glanced at her in confusion. Then he went upstairs and opened the door. Then turn on the air conditioning. Make it cooler inside. Deep winter snow follows closely behind. Follow into the room, looking at the cramped room with a hint of jealousy. Do you live here? She tilted her head and asked. Even a small sparrow has all its vital organs. For me, F. Qin Yuan said. Deep winter snow milk, looking at the humble surroundings, slightly surprised. After all, the salary she offers is quite decent. There's no need to live in such a small room. But if she moves into my house? My house is quite big. Thinking of the family's villa. She lives alone. It's just too empty. Indeed, a male master is needed. Evil thoughts instantly filled my mind. Deep winter snow milk lowered his head in panic. With a delicate and sweet appearance, Qin Yuan did not care about the deep winter snow here, but instead they swept the room with gunfire. I always feel like someone has been here. She inadvertently cast her gaze towards the bed. Only a transparent thread of meat was seen. The tiles fell there. Suddenly my heart tightened. God, who put this shredded meat on my bed? Oh dear, your hobbies are quite unique, Shen Zunai said with deep emotion. Step forward to pick up the shredded meat. She glanced down at her snow-white, smooth legs, turning around with a smile that hides shadows. Do you want me to wear it? I sent you off. I don't need it anyway. Qin Yuan is so embarrassed he could dig out 31 holes with his feet. Detestable. Which baby is framing me? To kill or to love you? If only I could smell it. You should have known. That's just too twisted. Let's forget it. Looked up at the deep winter snow. She was looking at him with a smile that seemed both amused and teasing. Suddenly, a great anger surged in my heart. Is this a way to seduce oneself? Only then did I see the deep winter snow wrapping around the shredded meat. Then sat on the bed, curling up the calves, snow-white thighs, covered by flesh-colored transparent silk, digging up the package, exuding an enticing hue. Sexual predator. Is it good looking? She spoke with a charming and delicate tone, unintentionally on the bed. Strike various enchanting poses. Qin Yuan couldn't help but carefully examine this stunning scene. In my mind, I have already envisioned a pale yellow scene. That bed. Qin Yuan withdrew his gaze. But I am also very infatuated with this feeling. Quietly glanced at the deep winter snow. After being discovered, immediately said, I'll go to the bathroom for a moment. But in the deep winter snow milk, he had no intention of letting her go. Delicate feet in flesh-colored stockings, gently rubbing against her waist, then along her abdomen, slightly dragging down bit by bit. Qin Yuan suddenly felt overwhelmed. Face flushed. Watching the deep winter snow, Nai smiles brightly. Can't help but want to tease a bit more. Do you want me to get you a piece of paper? Hearing the gentle voice of the deep winter snow, Qin Yuan shot her a fierce glare. That's enough, right? I've seen it. You can go home now. Qin Yuan blushed. He pushed her jade-like foot away. The leaves are so dark. I came home feeling tired and sleepy. Fatigued driving, but it's easy to get into trouble. In the deep winter, Zunai sighed. Lying on the bed, after burying my head in the pillow, lift it a little more. I couldn't ask for more. She spoke without any reservations. A handsome guy is accompanying me to sleep. I also find it hard to obtain. In the deep winter, the snow glistened as if winking. He said with a wicked smile, It's not my problem if something goes wrong. Scared by that gaze, Qin Yuan awkwardly walked towards the restroom, standing in front of the sink, looking at the handsome and charming version of myself in the mirror. Cannot help but feel puzzled. Why, I always feel like I'm the one losing out. Finished the task. Kin Yuan returned to the bedroom. Look at the deep winter snow on the bed. She murmured softly, questioning something. Seeing Kin Yuan, she got up with a beaming smile and walked over. Beautiful features, with a pair of bright, big eyes. The corners of the mouth lifted. Suddenly, his face turned cold. Charm in the air, transparent flesh-colored stockings wrapped around long legs. When taking action, long, fair thighs, flickering in and out, whittling her curvy hips. Step by step, he walked up to Kin Yuan. Seeing such a beautiful professor, Kin Yuan's heart suddenly warmed up. The professor's delicate figure was like that of a young master. It can be said to be a masterpiece, exuding the fragrance and allure of a mature woman. The fish and meat legs of the wind are particularly striking, under the backdrop of shredded meat, more stunningly beautiful. You can't be serious about staying here, right? Kin Yuan couldn't help but confirm again and again. Facing such a charming and graceful wanderer, he couldn't hold on to his confidence. In the deep winter, Zhu Nuo uses her arms to cover her ample chest, presenting the rich suburban landscape before Kin Yuan. Spoke softly. Are you saying you don't want me to stay? Kin Yuan glanced over that perfect figure, swallowing saliva. I just don't want any unnecessary accidents to happen. After all, if something really happens. When the police are called, they catch them right away. It's so hot in the room. Can't you set the air conditioner to a lower temperature? In the deep winter, the snow gently caresses the flushed, hot cheeks. Can't help but complain. It's your problem. It is already quite cool now. Kin Yuan decisively refused, although the rent is almost free. This does not mean that the water and electricity bills are the same. Now I'm short on money. Cannot afford to waste. In the depths of winter, Yuki can no longer bear the high temperature within her. Boldly take off the soaked shirt. A large expanse of fair skin suddenly revealed itself. Kin Yuan was startled by this sudden action, quickly covered their eyes, but still couldn't help but reveal a few gaps. Critique the family in front of you. This is the first time I've shown so much skin in front of a man. Shandongzhu unexpectedly felt shy. Press your left arm against your chest. One could see Kin Yuan's shy demeanor. He couldn't help but want to pursue the victory. Then she brushed the hair that was scattered across her face. Then raise your right hand. Thorny tendons and rotten flesh, almost spilling out from the fresh meat's arm. Bold and sexy poses. Both of them were filled with a burning fire in their hearts at that moment. Don't delay any longer. I just lowered the temperature. Kin Yuan wished he could take a bite, but still suppressed the inner feelings, reaching out to rest on Shandong Zunuo's delicate shoulder, staring at the beautiful professor before me, smelling that enticing body fragrance. Uncontrollable thoughts, almost about to explode. There is movement in the Qin army's room. Are you back already? At that moment, a familiar voice came from outside the door. Kin Yuan felt a light in his heart, quickly pushing away the deep winter snow. He was filled with confusion, and the shirt stuffed under the bed. Wait a moment. What are you doing? He confusedly grabbed Kin Yuan's pant leg. What you want to understand. But there is no extra time left now. Suddenly, a knock at the door sounded. A sweet voice began to resonate. Qin Army, is it you? With a hint of caution in their voice. Without a doubt, it was the rain god who killed him. Silence. Don't speak. King Yuancha warned in the deep winter snow. Then he got up and left. Opened the door. As the door opened, Qin Yuan's heart tightened. Only rain god kills it. Holding a fruit knife, standing there filled with murderous intent. I was so worried, because there are strange sounds. I thought it was a thief or something. Meeting King Yuen, Yugong breathed a sigh of relief. The killing intent faded. Then he had a gentle smile on his face. I came back a bit late today. Sorry to disturb you. I'm really sorry. Qin Yuan kept apologizing and gazed at the charming beauty before him. Yugong killed it while wearing a beige dress. Ting ting yuo nuo, swaying gracefully, abnormal sensuality, bare with two white big bellies. The bloodstains were as fair and beautiful as Yang Jiu, especially the pair of feet wearing white slippers, even more tempting. Qin Yuan was staring blankly at his feet. A flush of crimson rose on the smooth cheek of Yu Gong. Are the socks flesh-colored? Today just passed through. I accidentally left it with you. Rain God kills the lovely fragrant snake. I left that there on purpose. Just wait for the Qin army to return. Find an excuse to meet. It's just that. That sock seems to be missing. He stood on tiptoe, looking at the bed not far behind Qin Yuan. But there was no sign of the socks. I used that sock. I'm very sorry. Used, Yugong's beautiful eyes revealed a hint of dazedness. For a moment, I mistakenly thought, the two people do not speak the same language. But upon careful thought, quickly understood. Instantly, her face turned crimson, shyly embarrassed. I see. I understand. But today, the scent of other women was particularly strong on Qin Jun, although I have come to terms with the issue of the socks. But Yu Gong sharply noticed an anomaly about Qin Yuan, stepped forward and asked seriously, inside, it shouldn't be. Hiding another woman, aren't you? As soon as the words fell, Qin Yuan couldn't help but feel anxious, looking at that alert and skeptical face. He forced himself to stay calm, cleared his throat, explained, how could I possibly? To keep a concubine in a hidden mansion. I will be late tonight. So the shop manager sent me home, sitting in a car. It's inevitable to pick up each other's scent, but it's a bit too intense. The suspicion of Rain Lord's killing only increased. Is it Ailey or that store manager? No matter who it is. I want to take away my Qin army. Then it's a matter of life and death. He held the handle of the knife, unable to hold back the force, visible to the naked eye. The wooden knife handle. There are faint signs of being crushed. Tonight, we absolutely cannot let the professor stay. Teaching Madam is truly terrifying. Qin Yuan remained calm, speaking calmly and peacefully. Kill it. It's already very late. I want to take a nap. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Yugong's reaction was even more intense. I really want to. Sleeping with the Qin army, but that would prevent him from resting properly. So conflicted. I feel so uncomfortable. Wah wah wah. Then you should get some good rest. Yugong kills King Tu Langsang. The grip on the knife handle weakened. Qin Yuan just let out a sigh of relief. Mrs. Qi turned her head back again. She stood solemnly in front of Qin Yuan. Please treat it well. She finished speaking with a full face of. She ran back to the neighbors, blushing. Only left with confusion and bewilderment is Qin Yuan, standing still at a loss. She looked at the ground. The slippers still hold some residual warmth. Reluctantly, I could only take it to the room. At this time, the deep winter snow has arrived. Already crawled out from under the bed. Sitting on the bed, staring solemnly at Qin Yuan. Kill him, he is my neighbor. Don't spread rumors. Qin Yuan quickly explained. Qi Shandong Zunai just shook his head. Yoyopath. I'm not surprised by that. The words were not finished. She sighed. Young people are just playful flowers. Then took off the shoes at their feet, along with that warm shredded meat. Take it and use it. You're welcome. Peasy, shut up. I really don't have that kind of preference. Kinyuan saw the deep winter snow, mistakenly believed oneself the eccentric who loves socks and shoes, hastily explained, "Deep winter snow milk," seeing her serious and earnest expression, a soft grip, slightly lost and disheartened. What a pity! Kinyuan glared at her. Duh, not a bit regrettable. When Yan deep winter snow milk. Her delicate cheeks were filled with frustration, but it was with such an expression. Instead, Kinyuan seemed a bit entranced. Unlike the beautiful goose egg of the rain god killer, deep winter snow milk, with a beautifully stunning oval face, tight-fitting lingerie, revealing the fair skin glistening with frost and snow. No matter how comparable they are to Mrs. Tye's two lumps of flesh, still that delicate and smooth slender waist. All can be called perfect. The appearance of the deep winter snow milk almost satisfied Kinyuan. Ru Sheng asked softly, leaning against that tantalizing, heated body surrounded by a mist of oil. Kinyuan couldn't help but nod. If it's the lady, perhaps it can really be done. In the depths of winter, snow falls softly, still unconcerned. Even those delicate white feet rested on Kinyuan's thigh. Kinyuan looked down at her jade-like feet, fair and delicate, rich like a sheep. 10 toes are of even length. The toenails are sparkling and smooth. You are really crazy. Stunned for a moment by those heartbreakingly beautiful feet, Kinyuan hurriedly shouted to stop, but that unique fragrance entered the nostrils. Unable to resist the desire to touch. Each toe is flawless. Any slight swelling is full of temptation. Awakened the most primal desire in Kinyuan's heart. Deep winter snow milk. Still not planning to let myself go. The little bird leaned on his shoulder. Fragrance lingers. Kinyuan felt exhausted. She smiled bitterly. "Aren't you afraid I'll eat you up?" Shen Dongzhu Nai said bluntly. "I see you Zaya Chulan are simply too afraid." Kinyuan was not angry either. Asking the way, "Are you sure?" "Deep winter snow milk. Just let it all go." Shan Xiao Dao. "A mature woman like me, I can see right through you, little Chu bird." As soon as the words fell, Kinyuan reached out, gently holding that exquisite jade-like foot. The moment fingertips glide across the skin, a surge of electric current coursed through the body, making deep winter snow cream. Soft greetings. "Mature woman, I can't tell." Kinyuan continued to play with his little feet. She squirmed restlessly, feeling a surge of heat in her body. Shandong Zunai gasped for breath, yet still gritting their teeth. She gazed at Kinyuan with a flirtatious gaze. "Da, your methods are nothing special. If it weren't for the lady next door, how can you be so reckless?" Kinyuan couldn't help but stick out his tongue, fingers playfully fidgeting. In the depths of winter, snow falls softly. Beautiful eyes intimidate. After realizing it, quickly, 5 layers of purity. Try my best not to show any disgraceful behavior. But these efforts are ultimately in vain. Her sleeves swayed. In the gaze lies a mesmerizing hue of water. Enough, enough. I will leave then. Deep winter snow milk. No longer able to maintain the image of mature desire. Breath like waves escapes from the mouth. A twist of the waist. Just about to escape from the claws of Kinyuan. But no matter how she twisted her slender waist, yet unable to move an inch. On the cold, pale cheek, filled with vibrant colors. Really don't want it any more. Qin Yuan smiled and asked, seeing the usually cold, motionless professor show a charming demeanor. I can't help but feel exhilarated. What's the point of pretending to be mature? Ming Ming is shyer than anyone else. Pretending to be something you're not. Let go of me already. In the deep winter, the snow highlights the slightly thick eyebrows. Glaring angrily at King Yuan, tightly hold the circle of powder, continuously pounding her chest. Now I realize begging for mercy. What have you been doing so early? Qin Yuan saw her attitude. In an instant, she felt weak all over. Ziyu Yan's face was flushed, vibrant and dripping with color, until I felt completely powerless. Almost collapsed on the ground. Qin Yuan finally spared her. Only the deep winter snow lies on the ground. The body is still twitching slightly. Feng Mao Yuan glared at Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan showed no fear, propping up his chin, looking at the family with great interest. If I were to talk about how you look like this, what would happen then? Do you dare? In the deep winter snow, Nai felt regret. Regretting coming to this apartment. Arrived at this room. There is no medicine for regret in this world. Say it again. It was she who teased first. Now Qin Yuan has taken control of the initiative. Why wouldn't I dare? Qin Yuan laughed heartily. Lifting my foot, I hooked the shredded meat on the ground. Delivered to Zhu Nai's front in deep winter. Put your hair up. In the deep winter, snow tightly bites the silver teeth. This kind of scene, she had only seen it on bad websites online. I never expected that one day it would happen to me. You have some nerve. She was shaking with anger. I glanced at the foot swaying in front of me. A plan formed in the heart. Then reached out and took off Qin Yuan's socks. It started scratching out of luck. Could scratch for several minutes. Qin Yuan only smiled on the surface, his eyes devoid of joy. How could this happen? I have received professional training. Qin Yuan clicked his tongue. Lift your foot. Pressed against that pure white collarbone. Threatened. If you don't want to wear it, that's fine. But in recent days, I want to take a leave of absence for my heart. She didn't plan to fight this woman to the death, just wanted to bully her a bit. At least he's a professor. Social status is not low. Barefoot, not afraid of wearing shoes. You also need to have a belly. It's that simple. In the deep winter, the snow felt somewhat muted. She thought it would be even worse. Ah, unwilling. I promise you. Deep winter snow let out a sigh. She still thought, Qin Yuan is really a bad person. Then she will be doomed tonight. She reached out. Move Qin Yuan's feet away. After thinking it over, her beautiful eyes flickered with a hint of flaw. You can take a break, but you have to accompany me to a place. Thud, thud. Shendong Zunai stood up. Yu's face showed a hint of pride. I really don't want to go to school. School hasn't started yet. Qin Yuan waved his hand and said, lying in bed. As a student, the most annoying thing is going to school. Qin Yuan is sleeping in at home. Don't go to school either. Not going even for money. Shen Dongzunai smiled playfully. How much to give? 100,000. Just think of it as a trip for fun. Get accustomed to the situation at the academy in advance. How much? Qin Yuan suddenly sat up in bed. Her eyes were filled with surprise. Seeing Qin Yuan made my heart flutter. In the deep winter, snow brushed against the strands of hair on her cheek. Proudly stated, 100,000 yen. Add double the regular pay. I don't need you to do anything either. Just walk around the yard with me. Let me introduce you to a senior. A long string of numbers floated in my mind. Qin Yuan's eyes gleamed with golden light. the aloof professor at this moment. She appeared enchanting in his eyes. "Let's set off now." He immediately became excited. He stood up impatiently. He took the hand of the deep winter snow milk. Just planned to make a big fortune. Suddenly there was a crack at the door. It was opened. As the door was pushed open, a piercing, bone-chilling cold. In an instant the room was filled with a dense atmosphere. Kin Yuen gasped. Even the heart stopped for a moment. It was not just a chill, but rather a nearly substantial killing intent. Bai's face was pale and gloomy. Cannot see the expression, but it is obvious that emotions have already plunged into a low point. It's all over. Caught red-handed by the illness teacher. Do you think I, at this moment, will it definitely be unbearably sad? Do you think I must have unspeakable regrets? No, I can no longer bear it in my heart. I will have no place to be buried when I die. Kin Yuen let out a sigh, thinking about how to handle it. This troubling time is despairing. Suddenly felt something was off. His eyes were half closed. Take a closer look. The face suddenly contorted, whispering with clear enunciation. Rain, Prince Love's lily, standing directly at the door, draped in hazy moonlight, Tokyo's first beauty, showing a smut and wicked smile. Yugong let out a light laugh. After walking into the room, closed the door. Soft footsteps approach. A flicker of imperfection flashed in her beautiful eyes. She stepped forward and directly hugged Kin Yuen. Soft cheeks, close against that sturdy chest, sucking in that faint masculine scent. Softly and gently. "Oh, aren't you welcome?" Speaking, Rain Gong Ailey. Set your gaze on the deep winter snow behind Kin Yuen, eyes filled with deep vigilance and malice. Deep winter snow milk. She released Kin Yuen's hand, looking calmly at Rain Gong Ailey. This is this what they call a sure field? I had never even thought about it before. I never expected that it would actually happen to me today. From childhood to adulthood, from kindergarten to university graduation, back to the workplace. She has always existed like a queen. This is the first time I've found myself trapped in such a romantic quagmire. It seems they were caught red-handed by the main character. Deep winter snow milk. Low voice, madman. But when I think about it carefully, Genju, is she really Kin Yuen's girlfriend? Rain Gong Ailey didn't pay much attention. Deep winter snow conflict within. She merely smiled faintly at Kin Yuen, falling down in a panic. "Kin Yuen, you wouldn't want your sister to find out about this, right? Consider it a favor I owe you. I want to live." Kin Yuen continued to struggle helplessly and plea. Yu Gong's beautiful eyes squinted slightly, beaming with joy. That delicate, boneless jade hand moved to Kin Yuen's waist, slowly moved to the perky buttocks, a firm yet soft touch. It sparked great wicked thoughts in her. Do not rely on others. After all, it all depends on your performance. Her gentle voice arose, suddenly licked the edge of Kin Yuen's neck. At this moment, Kin Yuen was held down tightly, then turned their gaze towards the deep winter snow, attempting to seek some help. It is clearly in vain. In this moment of deep winter snow, thinking about something in silence, with his head down, he completely missed Kin Yuen's signal. Rain Goddess Ailey reached out to hold Kin Yuen's shoulders, eagerly leaned in closer, wrapped the tender legs around the waist. The thin lips appeared before my eyes, close at hand. Kin Yuen's will is about to be crushed. After a moment of silence, turning around, he instead pinned Rain Gong Ailey down on the bed. "You really don't plan on letting me get a good night's sleep, do you?" Under the pressure of Kin Yuen, Yan Gong Ai didn't take it seriously. Instead, they slowly took off their armor, thrown aside, although it is not like the snow of midwinter, the trembling, gentle breeze, but sweat covers the entire suburb, glistening with enticing light, with the rise and fall of breath. It seems to be waiting for a brutal ravaging. Seeing this stunning scene, King Yuan's heart began to burn with anxiety. Stunned for a moment, this moment unexpectedly feels long, embraced by the petite and gentle suburbs. A surge of electrical stimulation coursed through my entire body. King Yuan couldn't help but stand slightly upright. Just feel. It feels like there are two flames burning in my chest. It left him dry-mouthed. Rain Gong Ai wishes to have a rosy complexion. Breathing like the sky, looking closely, appeared exceptionally charming and alluring. Good times are fleeting. Live for the moment. That is enough to conquer any man. The enchanting voice that mesmerizes the soul, whispering in my ear. He gently blew on her earlobe. Utterly enchanting. Qin Yuan was amazed by the beauty of the young girl before him. I was left speechless. Perhaps it was the atmosphere. He felt it for the first time. This smiling flower, so captivating and enchanting, clear-cut distinctions, the watery, beautiful eyes of the peach blossom, overflowing with tenderness, a delicate, beautiful face with a rosy glow, seductive pink lips, even without applying any lipstick, still tender and dripping. One opens and one closes. All are tempting and alluring. Qin Yuan could no longer hold back. Yielded to the ambiguous atmosphere, a large hand gently caressed the snow-white, delicate jade garment. Under the light purple pajamas, two tails of rotten meat flicker in and out of sight. Capture that delicate, tender lotus root coin. Yuan and Ailey have eloped. The beautiful eyes no longer speak. Deep winter snow is beside. It was as if they were shocked by the phrase "enjoy the moment." Suddenly I became clear-headed. The residual light illuminated the two beside. Sensual scene. He stared at it foolishly, unable to extricate oneself. But there is a sense of crisis. He suddenly realized during the gathering. Can't let this girl eat. She still has a chance now. But if we let them go down, then it became a true loser. From childhood to adulthood, she is the queen high and mighty. I cannot accept such a failure. Discussing beauty and charm, mature and charming, take some for yourself. She's worse than this underdeveloped little girl. King Yuan, don't forget. Visiting the school, a cold voice echoed, like a bucket of cold water, extinguished the blazing fire of King Yuan. He suddenly became much more clear-headed, looking towards the deep winter snow. Correct. Rather than being shy with this little girl, I have more important things to do. Yu Gong Ailey immediately became furious, glaring at the deep winter snow. Feels unreasonable. Can't eat it myself. Lacking charm and determination. But I won't let myself eat. Isn't this pure instinct? In the deep winter, Zunai cast a contemptuous glance at him. Next comes visiting Donda University, adapting to the environment of the academy in advance. Let me introduce you. Meeting a few senior students and professors. I know several professors with full professorships. They are all big names in the academic world. The story isn't finished yet. The eyes of Princess Ailey brightened. Go, Donbe, and you can meet with top-level professors. Such opportunities are rare and hard to come by. He instantly brushed aside the matters of CC. Good things are short-lived. You and I will battle again tomorrow. But this trip to the school visit, you have to take me with you. This is a great opportunity for the two of us. How can I make this girl mess things up? Gong Ailey snorted coldly. Holding onto Kin Yuan, I threatened him against the backdrop of the deep winter snow. "Don't let me go." "Then she won't go either. You're not her boyfriend." "On what basis do you decide?" "Very simple. I just had a great time with her on the grass." "No, don't spout fierce and harsh words." Kin Yuan sighed in sorrow and hardship, looking at the two who were at odds with each other. "I have a bit of a headache. In the deep winter, the snow makes one unable to hold back their tongue. Right now, my disadvantages are too significant. We can only settle for second best. Departing tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon. At the entrance of the store. I'll drive you all there. Oh yeah, the itinerary for tomorrow has been finalized." Kin Yuan delivers deep winter snow milk, cautiously came downstairs. After a simple farewell, Kin Yuan returned to the upstairs. Finally able to get a good night's sleep. The air conditioning blows against my cheeks. Yet deep down there remained a subtle restlessness. His gaze glanced at the stockings nearby, and those slippers. Kin Yuan couldn't help but sigh. After storing it properly, I'm preparing to find a moment to return it to my wife. Kin Yuan let out a long sigh. "Close your eyes and get ready to sleep. A few things for tonight." He is still unusually excited now. At this moment, the phone received a message. He opened it to take a look. It's from my good brother again. Recently, this netizen, the frequency of sending messages to oneself is quite high. "Are you still awake?" Kin Yuan looked at the message, rubbing my tired eyes. I didn't expect the other person was also having insomnia. So I replied casually, "Not yet. Had some fun with a few friends. Just lying down now. They say we're friends." But Kin Yuan deeply understood. Myself and rain god Ailey. The relationship with the deep winter snow is extremely ambiguous. Perhaps it is. Above so-called friends, not yet lovers, that mischievous underachiever's joke. Perhaps so. But that mature and charming professor, Kin Yuan, was determined. This might just be the pure queen's critique, wanting to possess someone for oneself. In my heart, after harshly criticizing the two of them, Kin Yuan asked again, "You've been sending messages really late recently. It wasn't like this before." The other party was stunned for a moment. He replied, "Recently I have someone I like, so I often can't sleep." Kin Yuan couldn't help but agree. Once tainted, the stench of a rotten romance filled the air. Insomnia has become the norm. "Do you have someone you like now?" the other person suddenly asked. This left Kin Yuan deep in thought for quite a while. The lingering image in my mind. Kin Yuan can be certain. The enchanting lady living next door. No one can compare to his status in his heart. No matter when I was a child. Still now, this wicked woman, it has always affected his speed in drawing the sword. I also have someone I like, but for some reasons, unable to express my feelings. King Yuan responded lightly. The love for Gong is too intense. So much so that Qin Yuan felt scared. Regardless of that married woman's identity, it's still the character shaped by illness. All is a glimpse of high walls. Of course, in the eyes of certain cow bandits. That's a bonus point. At this moment, the other party continued to inquire. "What do you boys like?" Qin Yuan was just about to respond, but upon reconsideration, there was a hint of daze in her gaze. Immediately asked, "You are a woman." I saw the other party answer straightforwardly. Qin Yuan was stunned. "We've been chatting for such a long time, good brother. It turns out to be a girl. This is so exciting. Sure enough, boys tend to like games more, right? What if I buy him a black myth? Qin Yuan, will he be very happy?" It will definitely happen, but it also depends on the situation. How have you been lately? Qin Yuan remembers. This girl's family background is average, yet burdened with enormous debts. In this situation, also spent a huge amount of money buying the game for a man who may not reciprocate his feelings. It's a bit too impulsive. It's okay. Saved up quite a bit of money by being frugal. The grades are steadily improving. When the time comes, see you at Donda. See you at Donda. Look forward to it. I am quite beautiful, you know. Looking at the message sent by the other person, with the adorable emojis that follow. Qin Yuan couldn't help but show a mischievous smile. Chat ended. Qin Yuan couldn't sleep even more. At that moment, a phone call suddenly came in. Looking at the unfamiliar phone number, he furrowed his brow in confusion and answered. It's connected. A familiar voice came through the phone. Qin Yuan furrowed his brows, asking the way. Who are you? Are you an idiot? I am Deep Winter Snow Milk. See oneself. I couldn't recognize it right away. In the deep winter, Zunai was instantly furious. Qin Yuan shrugged. I am not angry. This woman keeps talking dirty to herself. The tone is also very frivolous. Suddenly becoming serious. I really couldn't tell. Just like an AV actress. Dressed and ready. Qin Yuan couldn't recognize him for a moment. What is going on? Do I still need to sleep? Qin Yuan said gloomily. It's almost 4 o'clock now. If this continues, I don't even need to sleep anymore. It's nothing much. Just hearing Qin Yuan's slight anxiety. In the deep winter, the snow seemed to linger hesitantly. If I don't say it now, I hung up the phone. Qin Yuan impatiently urged. In the deep winter snow, she took a deep breath. Simply put, after a while, I want to ask you out to have some fun. Are you free? Qin Yuan felt silent for a moment, asking the way. Are you going on a date? As soon as the words fell, suddenly chaotic noises erupted over there. Yes and no. It just so happened that there was a meteor shower that day. I know a great place. For you. I have turned down many handsome guys' invitations. Qin Yuan couldn't help but roll his eyes. What does that have to do with me? Feigned indifference. Let's talk about it then. The conversation ended. He simply hung up the phone. Let the phone calls come one after another. Also indifferent to everything. Until noon. Qin Yuan just got out of bed. Yawned. Then changed clothes. Touched the flat stomach. Only on the table, I don't know when. A simple breakfast is laid out. It also comes with a bottle of yogurt. Qin Yuan's appetite was wide open. A few gulps, devouring like a wolf and tiger. Just finished eating. Holding the yogurt. Preparing to tutor Yugong AI Lai's homework. Knocked on the door of the campus beauty. Before long, the door was opened. A slender hand reached out, pulled Qin Yuan in. Just entered the room. Qin Yuan was pulled onto the bed, pressed down by Yugong Ailey. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Let's start learning, Rain Gong Ailey said excitedly. Take out the prepared textbooks and exercise books. More spirited than ever before, under the guidance of Qin Yuan. Rain Gong Ailey's learning efficiency has skyrocketed. Even Qin Yuan couldn't help but exclaim. So clever. I'll reward you with yogurt. Qin Yuan gently stroked her head. Take out the yogurt that Mo didn't finish and hand it to her. Ailey raised her head proudly, confidently stated, I am a genius. A few Chinese characters won't defeat me. It seems I need to speed up my learning pace. Qin Yuan spoke softly. Seeing her so arrogant, the corners of his mouth lifted slightly. Suddenly, an advanced question was thrown down. You gone AI lie, only able to rush with tears in their eyes. Yet there was still no clue, just practice, more cooking. Ew. Facing Ken Yuan's contemptuous gaze. And all this humiliation. Rainmaster AI lie, just swallow it silently. Since there is still time, Rainmaster AI lie, ready to tackle this tough problem again. Ken Yuan's gaze can't help but lean towards those fair and adorable little feet, curvaceous and charming ankles, delicate as if lacking bones, Shaimai's delicate fingertips, like a string of delicate jade stones, sparkling with enticing glimmers. The gaze slowly moved upward, those two tender shoots. Bai Nai's long eyebrows were tightly pressed together. It's hard not to feel a sense of loss. Smooth and elongated jade neck, jade-like body, delicate and exquisite curves, smooth waist, easily broken with a snap, the rolling flesh and blood fart. Recalling last night, Kin Yuan licked his lips. Couldn't help but feel restless, noticing Kin Yuan's gaze. A blush spread across Ailey's cheeks. Said with a hint of pleading, "Don't look anymore. I didn't wear it." "What are you not wearing?" Kin Yuan was puzzled for a moment. Ai Lai is struggling to hold down her skirt tightly. After understanding the meaning, immediately turned away their gaze. This annoying little sprite. Is this the moment we've been waiting for? Kin Yuan's cheeks flushed, smelling a fragrant aroma. The faint, delicate fragrance of youthful girls wafted through the air. Can't help but let my mind wander. He cons his thoughts. Turn around and prepare to say something. Ease the atmosphere. The girl's needlework was becoming more intricate. Suddenly appeared in front of me. Both of them were momentarily stunned. A distance so close. Even the sound of breathing. All is clearly discernible. Perhaps it is the shyness of a young girl. Yugong Ailey quickly pulled away, shyly picking up the underwear from the bed. Turning away from Kin Yuan, I said, "Don't look anymore." Getting ready to leave. During this period, I found a pet that is quite familiar with the academy. Let's stroll around together. But considering your limited understanding of astronomy, we can't discuss it much. So we'll just have dinner in the evening to get to know each other. As for the afternoon, I've found a pet that's quite familiar with the academy to hang out with you. Hearing the word pet, Kin Yuan let out a quiet sigh. I wonder which unfortunate senior it is. I guess I've been brought here to do the hard labor. He glanced at the rain fairy Ailey beside him. At this moment, the suburbs tremble slightly, excited yet nervous. Thinking of what my wife once said, can't help but sigh. This girl really likes Dongda. Kin Yuan gently stroked Yugong Ailey, tremblingly compliant. He looked at Kin Yuan in confusion, seeing the gentle and elegant smile on Kin Yuan's face. The unease in my heart dissipates. At that moment, the car suddenly stopped. The sound of the east hangs in the air. Unbuckle the seatbelt. She turned to look at Kin Yuan. Suddenly, he made the first move. Sudden action. This left Kin Yuan somewhat puzzled. "What are you doing, Professor?" "This is on the car." "What are you thinking about?" "Take this card." Sheng Dong Xuan pouted angrily. A bank card was thrown over. "This contains 10 million yen." Kin Yuan caught the bank card. Suddenly urged on. 10 million. Ailey, the rain god beside her, was also stunned. An expression of disbelief. "Professor, I won't sell myself." Kin Yuan looked at the bank card in his hand, somewhat hesitant. It feels like a loss not to take it. Taking without selling oneself. He feels guilty about it himself. "What are you thinking?" "This is the funding for our department." "I'll keep it for you." Sheng Dongshu and I complained. Classical Chinese. Qin Yuan felt a sudden sense of disdain. I can't wait to get rid of this hot potato. This card spends money. As long as there is a reasonable reason, you can take it for reimbursement, especially in the academy. So when interacting with the professors, don't be so stingy. A bit perceptive. Understood? Sheng Dangshuan continued speaking. A serious and earnest expression. Clearly, it's coming this time. Absolutely a heavyweight star. Qin Yuan nodded repeatedly in agreement. What a fortune it is for Huayim men. Walk your own path. This feels incredible. But what about expenses outside of school? Yu Gong ailey stared at the card. Her beautiful eyes sparkled brightly. Then just fill it in yourself. Sheng Dongshuan smiled lightly and said, What if I can't make up for it? Qin Yuan asked again. Sorry, but I can't assist with that. Leaned forward. Zion pinched Qin Yuan's chin. Smirking, he said, With such a fair and handsome appearance, aren't you afraid you won't be able to get this 10 million yen? If one day you are heavily in debt, just come find me, sister, he said, gently brushing the strands of hair on her cheek. Charming and mature elegance. Captivating. The conversation ended. He returned to the driver's seat. Keep driving. At this moment, Qin Yuan finally noticed. He is dressed particularly eye-catching today. A pure and beautiful white dress. Wearing light makeup. A figure as turbulent as the waves. He even did it on purpose. The moment the zipper was pulled down, exposing a hint of fair skin. While the car hasn't started yet, Qin Yuan leaned forward. He reached out and pulled up the zipper. Suddenly touched like this. Sheng Dongshuan felt a tremor in her heart. Shyly questioning, What are you doing? Qin Yuan scratched his face. Coughing once. I just feel like there are too many roads. Watching his elusive gaze. Sheng Dong's enchanting eyes. First wide-eyed, then half-closed. Lowering his head, he paused for too long, then responded. So this outfit. From now on, I'll only dress for you. The atmosphere became ambiguous. Watching the two of them sweetly in love, Rain and AI lie. Suddenly infuriated, with the eyes of someone watching a mixed catch. Staring at you lion. The sound of the East hanging milk. Shaking with anger. The evil Oxir. General Duinmu will never spare you. You will beg me then. I won't let you go either. Qin Yuan accepted the bank card. The car engine starts. Sailing towards Donda. The three of them traveled in silence. Arrived at the East University gate. Standing in front of a world-class university, Qin Yuan did not feel particularly shocked. Just lightly looking around. Besides their group, many people come and go. There are both students from Dongda and travelers. Stop staring blankly here. It's so hot. The advanced teaching building. Sheng Dongshuan calmly spoke, leading the two into the campus. Qin Yuan and Rain Master AI Lai, walking shoulder to shoulder behind him. As I walked along, suddenly a dog barked, looking towards the source of life. A Shiba Inu appeared, running this way. It moved through the crowd. Stillness. Charged towards the three people. Clear purpose, unwavering determination. As the sound grew closer, Sheng Dongshuan couldn't help but step back repeatedly, hiding behind Qin Yuan, begging and pleading. Please help me stop it. The sound of weeping pleas. Let Qin Yuan notice. The little dog pounced over. It immediately reached out to embrace, gently stroking his head. Good boy, good boy. The puppy in my arms is very affectionate towards people. Don't move around. Just wagging its tail. Yu Gong Ai Lai also couldn't help but lean in. curiously examining it. The hair has been carefully groomed. There are no foreign objects on the body, clearly domesticated. At this moment, the puppy gazed towards the east, where the sound of milk hung in the air, shouting excitedly. This action, Zaide Sheng Dong San Nai's face turned pale with fear. Crouching behind Qin Yuan, I dared not look directly. Qin Yuan tilted his head. A missing dish. Professor, are you afraid of dogs? Not at all. A voice from the east echoes, celebrating with a single greeting. Qin Yuan turned around, holding the puppy, and looked at it. Couldn't help but lean closer. In an instant, a sneeze sounded. Suddenly, a voice echoed in the air, sneezing continuously. Lai Mai immediately increased the distance. She said with a flushed face, "I'm just allergic to dogs. Likes to make people act like dogs. But is allergic to dogs. Can you be more abstract, Professor? It's simply comparable to Mambo singing about the Grand Dada chicken steak." Qin Yuan couldn't help but chuckle, approaching with malice while holding the puppy. Watching the approaching Qin Yuan, Sheng Dongshuan was in a state of panic. Jiao could not stop standing, sneezing from time to time, a pair of moist eyes. At this moment, trapped in despair, it felt as if a handle had been caught. No way to escape. "Come and give him a hug, Professor." Qin Yuan showed a gentle and kind smile. "The dog in my arms is also extremely excited. Don't come over. If I had a nose." "Zio Chuan, I will definitely not let you off." Sheng Dong Chuan Nai, struggling to stay upright, threatening tone, attempting to stop Qin Yuan's pace. Qin Yuan smiled faintly. Not the slightest intention to stop. Last night was exhausting. Today he must eat some ghost head too, just as the two were about to get close. When communicating deeply, a dispassionate voice, out of place, rang out. "Professor, everything is ready." A cold voice devoid of emotion doused the enthusiasm that Qin Yuan had just stirred up. Only then did Sheng Dongshuan Nai appear to see the look of an old heart. He couldn't help but turn his gaze. The newcomer is a person carrying a parasol, a plump woman in a white lab coat, tall and slender, estimated to be a full 1.8 meters tall. 3,000 strands of hair cascade over the shoulders, curvaceous and graceful, long and sturdy thighs, paired with black thigh-high stockings, tight and perky buttocks. I can imagine even through the fabric. The snow-like soft and smooth skin. He stood with a graceful curve that reached into the clouds, staring blankly at Dong Zhu Nai. "Professor, is this sister the one you mentioned, Zuji?" Qin Yuan was examining everything around him. "I have to say she is a stunning beauty." Shen Dongsu nodded, just about to introduce, but was interrupted by Zuji. "Not right." Sister Zhu gracefully walked up to Qin Yuan, staring at him with head held high. There was a seriousness in the voice. "I am the professor's dog. Is the professor's most loyal pet." Unhesitating words shocked Qin Yuan's heart. It also intimidated the passers-by. Surprised, unfathomable gazes were fixed on me. Sister Zhu, however, remained unfazed. Or say, from start to finish, she barely showed any emotion. "Meiki, let's talk again in the advanced teaching building." Shen Dongsu's stunning beauty, instantly tinted with a layer of smoky red, shamefully pressing on Natsuki Miku's shoulder, sternly demanded. Sire Rai Meizu paused for a moment. Dugged. The gaze turned to the puppy in Qin Yuan's arms, waved his hand. Seeing this action, Shen Dongsu was startled, quickly dodged away. But that little Shiba Inu. Then she immediately leaped out of Qin Yuan's embrace, diving into that ample embrace. King Yuan asked, "Is this little guy your pet? Summer's beautiful snow, please accept it. Dao, recently sent from my hometown. What is its name? No name. Don't you want to get up?" Summer Beauty Zhu is deep in thought, tilted its head. "It seems I have an idea. Dao, how is Jiannan?" "I feel it's not as good as the two-faced turtle." Qin Yuan wanted to continue the conversation. Shen Dongsu pouted, slightly jealous, stepped forward and pinched Qin Yuan's face. "Han Shendao, did you not understand what I said? First, go to the teaching building. Summer's beautiful snow. Put the puppy down." Squatting there, softly advising, "Let's play outside. Please don't disturb others anymore." After the dog barked twice genuinely, quickly ran away, watching the little one's retreating figure, Zairai Meizu revealed a hazy look in her eyes, as a gentle breeze brushes against the face. Her hair was slightly disheveled. The corners of his mouth lifted into a faint smile. The four of them entered the campus, arrived at a cool and quiet corridor. Shen Dongsu, restoring the former imposing appearance. "Let me introduce this person to you first. She is a junior in the astronomy department, Zairai Meizu." King Yuan carefully scrutinized this graceful senior from the Wuku group, although there are no expressions. But with this perfect figure, no more words are needed. The rain god Aili watched her warily from the side. I don't know why. Gave a hostile glare. He even turned around on purpose. Measured my own size. After making the comparison, Yulian felt both shy and furious. "Hello, junior students." Zairi Meixu calmly greeted the two. Then I started to introduce myself. "I am Professor Shendong's chief pet." In a calm tone. In the end, this woman showed no shame at all. Instead, they take pride in it. "I don't know either." "How many did she actually raise?" "A pet like this senior sister." Shen Dongsu coughed once, revealing an air of arrogance and composure, using breath control to navigate the tunnel. Everyone listened carefully. There are rules at Donda. Even if you can only be considered travelers, you must also comply. For example, ignoring Shen Dongsu's words, love turns towards the beautiful summer snow. Even this senior sister, he also looked very proud. It seems as if this pet's status. How grand and magnificent it is, though the bond cannot be acknowledged. But since she likes it, then just let her be. She looked up. She looked up. Just then their eyes met. The two of them locked eyes. Just keep staring like that, until the two people beside me sensed something was wrong. "Why are you all being so ambiguous?" Shen Dongsu is learning to make milk, reaching out to cover the beautiful eyes of Summer's Meizu, furiously interrogating King Yuan. Rain Gong An Lai also became jealous, patted the unremarkable plain, not spoken aloud. I was already furious inside. Love can be perplexing. Just about to explain. Zairi Meixu spoke first. "I'm just curious. The future male protagonist. What is so special about it? If it makes the master feel displeased, please punish me." Cold words echoed. A seemingly calm tone. Yet it stirred a ripple of emotions in everyone's hearts. What kind of male protagonist? Don't speak nonsense. Shen Dongsu's face is like a peach blossom at this moment, anxiously glancing back and forth at several people. "Master, you have been quite clear recently." Before Zairai Meixu could finish speaking, Shen Dongsu used her delicate white hands, blocked her fragrant lips. Shen Dongsu was exasperated, feeling utterly ashamed, ordered angrily, "You are not allowed to speculate on your own. Please buy me some water. Hurry up." Uh, Mezu is striving to respond. Then he quickly left, finally got rid of this trouble. Shen Dongsu let out a sigh of relief. Set your gaze. Looked at with a strange gaze. Staring at each other. She showed a shy demeanor like a little girl. The romantic connection suddenly felt awkward. Once again, there's nothing I can do. Can only turn my gaze elsewhere. It's still a public place. This senior is a bit too blunt, isn't she? Gong Ailey stood with her hands on her hips. Complained. Tis. How old are you? Can't you show a bit of self-control? Shen Dongsu is a teacher. Gave her a fierce glare. On self-control. Do you have the right to criticize me? The atmosphere became tense and strained. As I watch my East learning. Still need to show off. King Yuan reached out and gently pinched her soft face. Stop talking. Today's goal. The story isn't finished yet. Shen Dongsu is learning. Holding the head of fate. Tiptoe a little. The rich fragrance was directly imprinted. You as a person. Watching this scene. With Princess Ailey's delicate cheeks. Two red clouds are floating above. Stamping in frustration. She never expected this woman to be so bold. In front of one's eyes, just kissed outright. This green tea girl's boldness. It's a bit too big, isn't it? King Yuan was also startled by this sudden bold action, as a pair of jade arms encircled the neck. Shendong learns that milk does not return, but instead reflects, stirring emotions in the heart. After a while, then the soft and fragrant aroma began to unfold, gazing at her with deep affection. You are, after all, a public figure, in front of a large crowd, seen by others. Aren't you afraid of what people will say? The bonds of fate gently brush against the lips. The lingering warmth and sensation made her unable to hold back her reproach. Shen Dongsu playfully twirled his hair. Sipping slowly, she savored the taste. After drinking, they got closer again, fingers entwined with soft blue strands, whispering sweet nothings. I'm not interested in idle gossip. Instead, it's your kiss, little brother, makes me feel even more at peace. Speaking, she is about to launch an offensive. But this time, they were already prepared with Gong Ailey. Almost between the two. No more continuing. She stared intensely at Shen Dongsu. Fierce appearance, but it has no deterrent effect. Shen Dongsu smirked contemptuously, not taking this beautiful girl seriously at all. She recklessly reached out to touch the sturdy chest of her beloved. The enchanting voice, like that of a celestial moon, resonated. Good younger brother, her figure has also improved more and more. Can I let my sister touch it? King Yuan quickly waved his hand, just about to refuse. Words filled with anger echoed in my ears. Don't touch her. Ming, I am still here. Do not lay a hand on her. King Yuan turns her gaze towards Princess Ailey. She tightly held the pink ring, staring at Shen Dongsu with murderous intent. Not right. The voice is off. This voice. I will never admit my mistake. It is to slay the public. Ailey can be set aside. You are a latecomer. In front of a large crowd. Indulge her recklessly. Indeed. Just kill it. Likes to strike poses. Burn you into a dry corpse. The combustion rate has dropped to only 5%. Let's see how you can still kiss her. Voices of the heart surfaced in my mind. A moment of surprise in the romance. Immediately relieved. Just as she thought. Indeed, it is the voice of those who wish to kill the prince, illuminating the surroundings with the remaining light, but completely unable to find the figure of Gong Sha. It seems that the lady has learned from her previous experiences. The method of following has become more discreet. Since I could hear the heart's voice of Gong Shajai, the romance was secretly tested. I want to hear the voice of my heart. The two must not be more than 10 meters apart. Clearly, it was a public execution. Stop all this. But once exposed, love will once again be because of me, following and getting angry, so conflicted and uncomfortable. That fool, Ollie, truly useless. Can't you block it a little? It made my stomach hurt. The gaze of fate occasionally glanced around, thinking carefully about these heartfelt words. Suddenly it all became clear. Raise your gaze. Look at the ceiling. Clearly at this moment of execution by the public. Just upstairs. But how did she observe everything happening here? She couldn't help but looking towards Gong Ailey. The outfit was no different from usual, wearing simple school uniforms, matched with high silk. There is nothing particularly different about it. The gaze ascends. At that fair neck area, a striking necklace caught my eye. There was a small trinket embedded in the necklace. Micro camera. It turns out this pair of sisters, everything had already been planned out. I'm afraid everything that happened last night. The lady already knows everything in her heart. King Yuan understood everything, without saying a word. Place her on the chest. The delicate jade hand that was constantly being erased pushed open. "Professor, please have some self-respect," she said with a gloomy face. "The Qin army did well. Cannot let this bad woman, if we continue to act recklessly." The shy voice from my heart, like a flood breaking through the dam, rushed out all at once. Hearing this, Qin Yuan couldn't help but blush. Shen Dongzhu Nai withdrew her hand in surprise. The rosy hue on Yu's face faded away. Instead, feeling gloomy, they crossed their arms, whispering, "Self-respect? You think you're a man? Is the city really this thirsty?" She glared at Qin Yuan in shame and anger. "The more I think about it, the angrier I get." At this moment, it was just the beautiful summer snow came back with a bag of drinks. In the summer, Makesu took out from the bag, take out a bottle of chilled happiness water, respectfully handed over the winter snow milk, and said, "Sugar-free sparkling water for you to enjoy, master." A voice devoid of emotion. Deep winter snow was very displeased. "Bah, I won't drink sugar-free today. Goodbye." Zaire Makesu nodded. Then from the bag, he took out a regular cold soda again. "Bah, it's ready too." In the deep winter snow, Nai couldn't help but stick out her tongue. There's a feeling of nowhere to vent my anger. After seizing the happy water, gulping down greedily, in just one bite, more than half was gone. Summer's beautiful snow follows. Look at Qin Yuan and Lady Yueili. Rather than passing the bag over blandly, "Duh, I didn't know what flavors you both like. I randomly picked a bottle. You gong ai lie. Instead, I chose the sugar-free happy drink that the deep winter snow milk didn't want." Then Bin Bin politely handed over. "Thank you. You're welcome." Zai Mei Zhu also politely replied. Then the gaze turned upward. "Increase the volume." The one upstairs. "What would you like to drink?" As the words fell, the whole place fell silent. In the deep winter, snow tilted the head. Confused, he said, "Upstairs? Is anyone up there?" Zaire Makesu was dazed for a moment. Dan said, "Sart, my mistake. Mistakenly thought you were friends with the professor. The petitioner is frustrated. Isn't the senior a bit clairvoyant? Even the people upstairs can sense it, as expected of a senior. You gong ai lie." Her eyes were filled with uncontrollable panic. The voice has become a bit hoarse. Zaire Meizu does not have the slightest bit happy due to praise. Palmpath because the footsteps and breathing sounds were very loud. So the path of awareness. And all along someone has been secretly following. I mistakenly thought you knew each other. Chen Donzunai waved her hand. What a coincidence. Don't worry about that anymore. It's time to visit the school. Damn it. Have they already been discovered? It must be that the technology isn't skilled enough yet. Continue following behind. This is so awkward. Indeed, it's necessary to take matters into my own hands. The voice of Yugong's intent to kill echoed once more. Qin Yuan let out a silent sigh. Once these few people meet, I don't know how dangerous things will explode. It must be stopped. Qin Yuan downed the drink in his hand. He then smiled wryly at everyone. Sorry, sorry. I'll go to the bathroom for a moment. You all go ahead. I will wait for Zai Zhen to come up. Deep winter snow Nai looked helpless. Said softly, It's okay. We are waiting for you here. The other two girls nodded. Express agreement. Qin Yuan let out a sound of acknowledgement. Quickly left, after fading from everyone's view, heading upstairs again. Qin Yuan quickly climbed up the stairs. Come to the second floor. Bai and Jindai hurried towards the corridor. A business worth a full 100,000 yen. We can't let this be ruined like this. Before long, a familiar graceful figure appeared in view, even though it was just, but that charming storm has passed. Qin Yuan would never get it wrong. He slowed his pace and approached slowly. Downstairs are the professors. Once Madam and the professor met, it's hard to imagine what kind of sparks will fly. Yugong leaned against the wall as he killed, looking at the surveillance footage on the phone. Notice the footsteps approaching nearby. Confused, he looked up. Qin Yuan has already appeared before me. He was about to exclaim, but Qin Yuan forcefully covered his mouth. Qin Yuan relied on his physical advantage, quickly subdued Yugong's killing intent. Hurriedly dragging him, walked to the deserted corner. Yugong struggled instinctively under the kill, but soon they gradually began to cooperate. Tears glisten at the corners of my eyes, shrouded in a thin mist. Blushing like a peach blossom, it gives off a feeling of being at your disposal for picking. Sorry, I can't assist with that. They were unexpectedly discovered by the Qin army. Finished. Why do you want to silence me? What is this for? So itchy. Could it be that he wants to? After all, we are still in school. It's not appropriate, is it? As long as he likes it. I didn't say I was unwilling. Qin Yuan raised his head. Every step of the movement. It all feels incredibly difficult. The legs separated by fabric, pressed tightly against the lady's beautiful bottom, due to the difference in sides. The exquisite curves were constantly pressing. Every time I looked down, that slender, pale neck. The sky has long been filled with dense red clouds. A splash of red, a wave of unbearable longing, surging in my heart, finally arrived at the deserted darkness. Qin Yuan also took a breath, let go of the hand. At this moment, Yugong Shajai, sitting slumped on the ground. Jaio's body was slightly restless. Not a word was spoken. Even dared not to look at Qin Yuan more than once. The atmosphere is somewhat ambiguous. Qin Yuan spoke up. Shajai, are you worried about me, which is why you followed? Yugong Shajai fell silent for a moment. A hint of disappointment flickered in her beautiful eyes. He answered softly, I just happened to run into you. I didn't want to follow you. Batman, you actually want to date other women behind my back. So hateful. Yugong Shajai, you need to be strong. You are no worse than them. The person the Qin army loves the most must be me. King Yuan looked dejected. I don't know what to do with this beautiful woman. Footsteps are approaching. Qin Yuan tried to keep his head down, pressed against Yuan Shashai. Don't want others to notice. It's just a simple action. Yugong Shashai's gaze rippled, shyly glanced at Qin Yuan. Lift your head and tilt it slightly. Are you trying to drive me away, Qin Army? Qin Yuan pondered for a moment. I still don't want to give up on this job. Arrived. Shashai, you can go home first. Take a fragrant shower. Wait for me at home. Is it good? As soon as the words left my mouth, Qin Yuan also felt a bit shy. Looking up, the lady's single phoenix eye squinted, staring straight at oneself, a strong sense of oppression. He felt like he was sitting on pins and needles. The Qin army is deceiving. Suddenly, a soft call. Qin Yuan felt a tightness in his heart, due to a long while. He asked slowly, Are you afraid I might trick you? Yugong Shashai narrowed her beautiful eyes, whispered, Sleeping in the morning. In the afternoon, I accompanied Ai Lai to study, working from evening until late at night. I went home and fell asleep on the bed. Qin Jun, do you still have time to be with me? Qin Yuan glanced at the corridor. After confirming no one was around, lowered his voice and said, I will go back early tonight. That's what they say. But what time will you be home? He didn't have a clear idea in his heart. Only Yugong Shashai can be seen. Momo was rummaging through her bag for something. Qin Yuan immediately panicked. There's something off. Take out the knife. Eliminate it by oneself. Shashai, trust me just this once, okay? But you have already deceived me. Yugong Shashai lowered her head and remained silent. A hint of melancholy and loneliness appeared between her brows. Easily noticeable. It has already been 10 years. Still tangled up in what happened that night. I am really an immature woman. Qin Yuan scratched his head. A waking of hidden memories. It was a scorching summer day, just like 10 years ago. He was almost assaulted by Yuyong Shashai. For the sake of health, he made an excuse and slipped away. Spent a night at a classmate's house. I also thought about it all night. At that time, even though it is an adult's soul, but the body is only 8 years old. He knew all too well that a decadent life, once begun, inevitably cannot be restrained. So I often avoid Yuyong Shashai. The next morning, Qin Yuan had just made up his mind. Prepare to face it all. But it's already too late. Yugong Shashai was taken back to Tokyo by the police, just as Qin Yuan was deeply immersed in memories. Yugong Shashai asked, Qin Army, isn't that woman enticing you to date her with money? Indeed, the reason lies within the wealth. How much did she give you? As long as you walk with me, I'll give you double. Yugong Shashai spoke earnestly, in those sparkling beautiful eyes, carrying a few pleas. It's all set. I can't let someone down. Qin Yuan. After all, this is about sexual desire. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. That is my esteemed professor. Need to add money. Yugong Shashai sees the chance. Great joy in my heart. Without hesitation, take a bank card. Took it out of the bag. Then he handed over the card, explaining in a hesitant manner, This is the dowry my parents prepared for me, a total of 5 million yen. When we first got married, it's of no use either. Just keep it here with me. Anyway, it's yours in the future. Qin Yuan took the bank card. The pupils dilated sharply, staring at the bank card, unable to look away for a long time. Why isn't the Qin army saying anything? It really isn't enough after all. Fortunately, Yugong Shezi said, I need to take out another card from my bag. Qin Yuan quickly intervened and said, Enough, enough. Stop digging. My little heart can't take it anymore. I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. Yugong Shatai cautiously asked. So are you willing to go back with me? Qin Yuan let out a sigh, scratched his head, put the card back in his bag. It seems that I lie. I want to stay a little longer. Let's go home first. The conversation ended. Yugong Shashai reached out in disbelief, covering her flushed cheeks. Tears kept welling up in my eyes. She obediently replied with a soft hum, leaping into Qin Yuan's embrace. Qin Yuan gently patted his jade-like back as he was getting ready to head home. A shadow, unknowingly, appeared in front of the two. He looked up in surprise. Only Summer Beauty Zhu stood calmly in front. Stunning beauty. It remains as cold as ever. The master is afraid you won't find the bathroom, so let me take you there. But it seems it's no longer necessary. Listening to that unwavering tone, Qin Yuan swallowed hard and said, Could you do me a small favor? Just tell him. I can't find myself anymore. Zaya Zhu's indifferent expression shifted slightly. Dao, the master has spoken. I will safely take you to the restroom. Then the seatbelt returned. Consider it as a favor I owe you. Please help me out. Facing Qin Yuan's request, Summer Beauty Zhu turned to the side. Momo quietly made way for the two. Qin Yuan let out a sigh of relief. Just as I was about to leave after expressing my gratitude. Summer Beauty, snow again. Please wait a moment. What happened? He asked in confusion. Please give me your contact information. Zairai Meizu said, took out the phone, though I don't understand his intentions. Qin Yuan nodded. After exchanging contact information, the cold jade curtain of summer's beautiful snow, a rare layer of pink emerged. Qin Yuan was somewhat shocked, but didn't say much. Ringing the rain god, Shajai quietly left, watching the two of them leave. Summer Beauty Zhu stands still, extend the smooth, pale jade hand, gently caressing the flushed, burning cheeks. Could not help but reveal a smile. The first time. This is the first time rebelling against the master's command, clearly knowing it's impossible. But this feeling, it feels really great. Ken Army, please come in. Arriving at the apartment, Yubong Shajai opened the door. With a beaming smile, she took Qin Yuan's hand and was about to pull him into the house. Qin Yuan did not resist either, entering the living room with him. A familiar fragrance envelops me. Qin Yuan felt extremely excited. Yugong Shajai is not in a hurry either. Tonight is definitely his stage. Before wanting a real feast, must prepare well. It will work only after a moment. Pulling at Qin Yuan's hem, he gestured for him to sit on the sofa. The atmosphere grew increasingly ambiguous. She smiled charmingly, spoke up. Qin Jun, you rest here for a while. I'll go prepare a feast for you. He must be working very hard these days. Make him a seafood feast. In the evening, they still have the energy to play with me. Qin Yuan, sitting on the sofa. It's hard not to feel a bit restless. Watching that graceful figure walk toward the kitchen, I only feel dry in my mouth and throat. After waiting for a while, he still couldn't hold back the burning desire within my heart. Plan to take the initiative. Enjoy the fresh and authentic seafood. At this moment, a phone suddenly rang. I saw that it was a call from Rain Gong Ailey. Qin Yuan furrowed his brows tightly. Reason clouded by desire. Cast aside, Rain Prince Ai left without a trace. This left Qin Yuan with an overwhelming sense of guilt and shame, in the gaze at the phone, instantly mixed with countless emotions: worried, nervous, chin, enjoy, unable to stop. The phone rang with a pleasant yet noisy tone. This made Qin Yuan feel a surge of panic and tension. My heart raced wildly, in a moment feeling at a loss. The line is always busy. Rainy Gong Ailey sent another message asking, "Where have you gone? Didn't we just say we were going to the bathroom? We have all been waiting for you for an hour. We'll be going to eat soon." "Hello," at least answered the phone. Then another call came in. Clearly, Rainmaster Ailey is almost dying of anxiety. Now she is between Zio, Hua, and Tai Tai. Make a choice. At this moment, an evil thought, but it arose from Qin Yuan's mind. Only children make choices. I want it all. Immediately following that, Qin Yuan suddenly stood up, walking towards the kitchen. At that moment, Yu Gong Shazhai was wearing a light purple apron, excitedly preparing the meal. Suddenly, a wave of satisfying pleasure, like an electric current washing over the entire body. "What are you doing?" She turned back in surprise. Qin Yuan held a phone in one hand. Make a gesture for promotion with one hand. Suddenly understood something. Under the tension and excitement, Rain Gong Shazhai held nothing back. Gently pressed the blood clot against that sturdy body. Qin Yuan connected the call with Rain God AI Lai. As soon as the call connected, the voice of Rain Master AI Lai's reprimand rang out. "Qin Yuan, come back quickly. Everyone is waiting for you." Hearing the familiar voice on the other end of the phone, Yu Gongshizhai felt a tremor in her heart, grew increasingly excited. Poor Ailey, are you still in the dark? What a lovely fellow! What would happen if she heard strange noises? The Qin army is truly terrible, but I really like you so much. I'm sorry, Ellie. I am temporarily. Some things need to go home first. I couldn't inform you in time. I am really sorry." Qin Yuan still held onto Yugong Shashai's waist, strengthened the chest, stuck on that fragrant soft jade quilt, smelling that enticing hair fragrance. Responding calmly, Rainmaster Ailey hesitated for a moment. Again, Dao, "Can you come over now?" Puff puff, "I really have an urgent matter. There's no way to get through. You all ate. Be careful and stay safe on the road." Listening to the strange sounds on the phone, Rainy Public, AI Lai brings a hint of jealousy. Couldn't help but ask, "It's so noisy over there. Who are you with now?" "Well, this, not very convenient." Qin Yuan's perfunctory response, this only made her even more curious. Just about to continue questioning, as the phone on the other end, a sudden, unrestrained sigh of infatuation escapes. She instinctively hung up the phone. The one decide cannot be snatched back and forth. In the deep winter, Zunai couldn't help but ask, "Where is Qin Yuan?" "The professors have all arrived." Rainmaster Ai Lewin desires a narrow face, answering in a fluster, "She said she had to take care of some matters. There's no way to come. That 100,000 yen. Does she not want it anymore?" In the depths of winter, Zunai's anger ignited. "Open your eyes wide." Gave a fierce glare. "Kneeling on the ground beside me being punished.